What's cooking, operators? Today we will show you a different kind of gameplay video. Welcome to Hostile Operations, a game that has been around for 10 years and it's currently on its 5th edition. There are two factions, the militia with an Arabian background and the Joint Operations Group. The main objective of the militia is to help one man called Bin al-Usame to cross the border. The Joint Operations Group main objective is to prevent Bin al-Usame to cross the border by either killing him or capturing him. Today our team has the special task of being Bin al-Usame's personal bodyguards. Again, our mission is to make sure that he crosses that border. Our mission guidelines are pretty strict. We need to keep him alive so we can smuggle him through the border in a specific location between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. Each player has only one life, so this means that we have to tread very carefully if we want to make sure that Bin al-Usame crosses that border. Before we can cross the border, Bin al-Usame needs to visit a village 2 times to get intel. We were the first ones deployed in the game, so our plan was pretty simple. Find a spot and lay low for 2 hours. We managed to find a spot in high ground with some trees to provide cover. Because it's located next to the edge of the field, it is very unlikely that enemies would consider searching this area. But if they do, then we would be able to quickly spot them and hide. We were always in touch with the faction leader because he possessed information about the enemy's location, and that allowed us to maneuver through the field safely. On our first visit to the village, we noticed that there are already some enemies trying to surround the location. We must move quickly to avoid capture. The village has a market that contributes to the submersive experience provided by the roleplay, and it feels great when everybody does their part to make that happen. Our leaders sent a squad on a reconnaissance mission, and intel tells us that the best location to cross the border is a small dried out part of the river. That should provide us the perfect opportunity to pass undetected, but we are carrying money and medic cards in case we need to use them. As mentioned previously, we needed to visit the village 2 times before we could cross the border. We decided to lay low for around 2 hours before visiting the village again and wait for the OK signal to attempt to cross the border. We are planning the best way to get to the dried up river crossing. However, we do have an ace up our sleeves. One member of the Blood Ravens team, who is playing in our faction, has a beard that looks very similar to Bin al-Usame's, so we decide to use him as a decoy. With everything in place, we receive the go-ahead and it's time to put the plan in action. We advance through the field very carefully, with one guy acting as a scout, making sure the path is secure. As we only have one shot at this, it is very important that we don't mess this up. With every step we take towards the crossing location, our levels of anxiety increase dramatically. We constantly check if there's any enemies in the area before moving forward, and we only move when we have the confirmation that the path is clear. Our scout gives the green light and we decide to make a run for it. We managed to pass the river and the fence, and this means we made it across the border. The decoy worked perfectly. The other faction was guarding the river, but received information that Bin al-Usame had been caught. After getting the news of his capture, they then decided to head back to their base, leaving the border wide open for us to move across with the real Bin al-Usame. This was a really interesting game for us. Not a single BB was shot by us, and we walked for hours and hours, always trying to avoid contact. The strategy of keeping out of sight, using the terrain in our favor, having a plan to distract the enemy, allowed us to complete the mission. But we were only able to do this due to a high level of cooperation of our entire faction. A special thanks to the Blood Ravens for their great idea to act as decoy. And this just goes to show you that Airsoft is more than just a game to shoot people. It's all about the experience and how you decide to engage with it.
Boas, malta. Hostile Op 5. 4 anhucas.
Está feito. Missão cumprida. Eu avisei-vos. O dedinho A culpa é do Cunha.
Está ali o rio, já ficou para trás.
And as you know by now, we have a website. We keep all our videos in there, you know, all the games that we went to, all the reviews, well, you name it, we got it. So what are you waiting for, buddy? Just go there and have some fun. Until next time, keep on playing.